Hey everyone, this is Dean with DCA Crypto. Got an interesting video for you guys today on the crypto markets, what's going on with lawsuits from the SEC, some different things that are impacting this crypto bull run. So I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel, smash that like button, and let's jump into it. All right, so today I'm going to be covering some different things about the crypto bull run and what we think could happen here in the future and what's going on with the SEC attacking crypto right now, how it's going to impact possibly the next few months of crypto and the future of crypto, and how crypto is fighting back against the SEC to try to, I guess, get some regulation in the United States to squash some of the stuff that the SEC is throwing out to different exchanges out there and DEXs and stuff like that in order to try to stop crypto. But will they succeed or not? That's what we're going to get into in this video, and what we got for weapons for the lawsuits that are out there. So let's jump into it here. All right, so currently we've got the crypto market cap just under 2.6 trillion. Bitcoin at almost 67,000. It's still holding strong. The market's still in the green, so we'll have to see what happens with this here. And so far, the SEC's FUD with attacking Uniswap and some of the other exchanges hasn't worked. They attacked KuCoin. Now it looks like they're going to attack Mexi, and Mexi is going to do KYC to keep people out of crypto with Mexi. I've had a bunch of exchanges reach out to me recently asking me to do videos for them if they want to start new exchanges in the US. BingX is one of them. They've created a new exchange. They've told me that they're going to be going under KYC for U.S. residents, and you're not going to be able to use BingX soon. They're starting a brand new exchange for U.S. residents to try to get around that somehow. So there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that you guys aren't seeing because you're not deeply involved in the crypto world. Because I'm an influencer, I get a lot of people reaching out to me, kind of telling me what's going on behind the scenes with some of this stuff. So I wanted to share it with you guys and let you guys know what's going on. But, overall, I think the market's doing really well, and the SEC's trying to squash crypto right now, and it's not working. And I'm sure it's very frustrating for them, but it is what it is. Hopefully we get some laws in place over the next few years that'll kind of squash some of these SEC lawsuits. I want to jump into this article here. This is by Coindesk.com. Crypto lobbyists sue the SEC over the dealer definition. So we've got a bunch of crypto lobbyists out there that are working for us, and they're on our side. If you're in crypto and you believe in crypto, they've actually got together with attorneys and they're suing the SEC, and this is out of the state of Texas, and they're suing the SEC over their determination over the dealer definition because it could really have a negative impact on not just exchanges but DEXs and anybody really that's trading in crypto. So we'll jump into that here. So it's saying the SEC adopted a broad dealer definition. They have that in quotes because, their definition of dealer is very broad, and it's, leaving it open for suggestion where just about anybody could get in trouble for dealing with cryptocurrency. So, they're trying to squash this before it becomes a problem. And they're saying that definition might capture crypto traders. So if we go into the article here, it says the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission, the SEC, rule expanding the definition of a dealer to capture digital assets activity has gone too far. A lawsuit by the Blockchain Association and Crypto Freedom Alliance of Texas alleged. The suit, and I'll show you that here in just a minute, claims that an expanded definition of a dealer would also capture people who are just trading in digital assets, so it could affect all of us. The suit alleges that the SEC did not engage with the feedback it received during the rule's public comment period and did not conduct its statutory required economic analysis. The suit is asking the court to declare that the rule is arbitrary, capricious, and otherwise contrary to law under the Administrative Procedures Act, and to block the SEC from enforcing the rule. Because of the rule's exclusive focus on post hoc effects of trading, the new definition of dealer will potentially sweep in all manner of digital asset market participants, including users who merely participate in digital asset liquidity pools. And there's a lot of people out there that participate in liquidity pools, the suit said. The definition of a dealer specifically excludes persons buying or selling securities for their own accounts, the suit noted, highlighting the difference between a dealer and a trader. The SEC adopted the wide definition of a dealer back in February after a 3-2 vote in favor, describing it as a functional analysis based on the securities trading activities undertaken by a person, not the type of security being traded. The regulator said it did consider excluding crypto, or at least certain aspects of the crypto industry, but found that doing so might give crypto dealers an unfair advantage over traditional finance counterparts. Well, too freaking bad. Crypto is going to overcome traditional finance whether they like it or not. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. They're going to take out the banking industry entirely. The banks will be pretty much just an off and on ramp for fiat, and that's just about it. But as you guys know, the SEC has lost a lot of these lawsuits, and hopefully they lose this one as well. I'm not going to get into too much about this, but they're basically going to sue the SEC for using that broadened definition and using it, unlawfully, and it can affect, the average person out there participating in liquidity staking and liquidity pools instead of just, dealers themselves or exchanges. So this is the lawsuit here. It says United States District Court for the Northern District of Texas, Fort Worth Division, the Crypto Freedom Alliance of Texas and Blockchain Association versus the Securities and Exchange Commission and Gary Gensler in his official capacity as chairman of the SEC. Basically, it's talking about here about the past 2 decades, digital assets industry has emerged as a thriving, pioneering component of the economy, and through the development of decentralized network technology, the industry has created an entirely new model of trading with the transparent and predictable rules of the road, minimized transaction costs, and no need for the middleman, which is the banks that permeate traditional financial markets. At its core, the industry has achieved this by building this new model on distributed ledgers, decentralized networks such as blockchains, and published history of details of digital asset transactions, and relying on open source software to facilitate trading. And this is a several page document if you want to read through some of this. I'm not going to get into all this, but basically, they're explaining to the courts why the SEC has overstepped their bounds again and why they need to be stopped, and this definition needs to be squashed and not actually made into law. So hopefully this takes place and they sue them and they win, and hopefully the SEC learns. But the SEC has unlimited money. That's the problem. They have unlimited money and they can just sue whoever the hell they want and do whatever the hell they want. And then these other people have to come in and spend their money to fight the SEC, and it costs millions and millions of dollars to do this, sometimes hundreds of millions. Like the Ripple case with XRP, they had to spend, I think, hundreds of millions of dollars to fight the SEC, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. And most of the time, the SEC picks on these smaller exchanges and stuff that don't have hundreds of millions of dollars to fight them, and they fold on them. So then we have this other article here. Uniswap says it's ready to fight the SEC as it ramps up its investigation. Uniswap Labs, one of the biggest entities in the world of decentralized finance, said it's ready to fight after receiving a Wells notice from the SEC mulling a lawsuit against the company. The firm said it received the Wells notice, to notify the company it is recommending enforcement action for possible violations of securities regulation. And it said in March of last year, Coinbase received their Wells notice, and they've been fighting it as well. Coinbase has been doing a good job of fighting the SEC, and hopefully, that was last June, and the case is still ongoing. Taking into account the SEC's ongoing lawsuits against Coinbase and others, as well as the complete unwillingness to provide clarity or path for registration to those operating lawfully within the U.S., we can only conclude that this is the latest political effort to target even the best actors in the building technology on blockchains, Uniswap said. So if you go to Uniswap's website here, they talk about how they're fighting for DeFi, how they're going to fight the SEC, and the law is clear that the law is on their side. It says here, regardless of what the SEC decides to do, the law is clear on these points. No authority from Congress. They say here the court decision, the SEC versus Ripple, makes it clear that secondary market transactions and digital assets generally do not constitute investment contracts. These are exactly the assets overwhelmingly traded on Uniswap protocol. The SEC chair even acknowledged in congressional testimony that the regulation of tokens would require Congress to pass a new law, that the SEC lacked the authority. So, they're going to fight this and they're not going to give up. So that's good. I hope Uniswap fights this all the way to the end and they win this lawsuit and squash the SEC's, attack on decentralized finance. So I want to show you this quick clip. The Bankless on YouTube here, and I'll leave a link for this in the description below if you want to watch this whole video. It's a really good video to watch. It's pretty long though. It's about an hour and a half long. But I'm going to play a quick clip from Rule Paul and what he's talking about here with crypto and how he thinks this this run could go here over the next several months with crypto.
People see Bitcoin going up, and then you hear that your mate, you're playing golf or having a drink, and he made money in it. And then you think, I've got to make money in it. And this is the reflexive loop. So that's what crypto summer is all about. It's the FOMO, the madness, the insanity that crypto becomes. But it also drives adoption, drives money into the VC again. It flushes money through the system, allows people to build new product, which is the next cycle's gains and all of this stuff. So that's great. And then we go into fall. And this is where the complications lie.
So he was just talking about where people FOMOing in. He's talking about billionaires. I heard from a friend of his that's in finance. And basically, I think he said he's in finance, but basically he's hearing rumors from billionaires that they're starting to FOMO into crypto. They're getting jealous of the gains that have been made over the past year in crypto. And it's really waking their eyes up to it because they're not involved in crypto, these billionaires. And it's like a billionaires club. And they're actually getting jealous of all the gains that have been made in crypto over the last year. And he thinks that they're going to start FOMOing into this market this year. And he thinks that a lot of these people that are in real estate, not commercial real estate, but other real estate like properties and stuff, where it's like vacation properties and stuff, these other billionaires that are in real estate are going to start to FOMO into crypto because they're getting jealous as well. And it's like a competitive thing between them to see who can get the most money. And they start talking about, well, I made this much money in here and I made this much money in here. Well, they're starting to get those kind of talks in the billionaire clubs about crypto. And he thinks that these people could start FOMOing in with retail as well and really cause a crazy bull run here.
Crypto fall, which we historically 2025, they've generally finished at the end of the year. We don't really ever know exactly. I think this cycle's maybe started a bit earlier. I don't know. And falls can be the most tricky part. This summer is the easy bit. You just shut up and do nothing. A number go up. Fall is tricky. So if you go back to 2013, we had a 50% sell-off. People thought it was done because it had already gone up, I don't know, 20x or something stupid. It then corrected 50%. Everyone thought it was over. And then it moon rocketed in just a way you can't comprehend. Then you get to 2017. Same. 2017, everyone kind of thought it was over early summer. And then it did, I don't know, 10x from there. It was bananas, right? That is really hard to deal with because 2021 was a stunted cycle. We never got the accelerated final leg. We had the huge correction. It went up, poked its nose back up in the highs, collapsed. Everyone's got PTSD from that. The real money was made in those previous two bull markets in terms of percentage returns. Everyone now assumes it can only go up 3x from the all-time high. There is actually no evidence of that. Maybe something was weird in the last cycle because the other ones did a lot past the all-time highs. So how I think of it is a distribution curve. Middle is it kind of does what it's supposed to do until sometime mid H2 2025, it tops out. Okay, that would be normal. That would be Bitcoin as a price target of, call it 200,000, something like that. 3x the all-time high kind of thing. I would give a 60% probability. I think there's a 20% probability that people who are calling this a left translated cycle, i.e. we've brought forward demand because of the ETF, it dries up, we're overperforming for this stage in the cycle. I think people saying that tend to be one cycle people because they only saw the last cycle because others have outperformed earlier on. So anyway, okay, there's a 20% chance of that. Then there's a 20% chance that this turns into a full-blown bubble cycle, a 2013, 2017, because of this new dynamics. You throw in an ETH ETF as well. You throw in, the $65 billion of VC that went into the last cycle. Somebody comes up with some killer applications. Before you know it, there's 200 million people playing a game. There's, stuff like this going on. Okay, that could create something crazier. And I'm continually assessing these probabilities in my head. And because there's so many people who I've noted have PTSD from the last cycle, the stunted top. It's less translated. They're going to...
It's funny because, you know, he is right. I do have PTSD from the last cycle. You think that everything is going to go up and keep going up, and just out of nowhere it dropped and, you know, crashed on us, and it was like, what the heck happened here? It actually did in the middle of 2021, you know, and I had seen my portfolio go from 6 figures down to like 4 figures. It was absolutely ridiculous, and it was really painful just over the few months. It was like we peaked in like March, April, and then crashed in May, June, July so hard that you were like, you thought the bull run was pretty much almost over. And then we took off again, but we never really made a new all-time high, and then it kind of crashed and went to zero from there. So it was really interesting the last cycle here, but it was, you know, he's right, it does give a lot of people PTSD from that happening last time around, and that's why I've been taking out my profits on the way up and just kind of pulling some funds out of the market. I still got a bunch in the market though, but the ones that have pumped extreme amounts, you know, giving me, you know, like a 5-10x or more, some of those I've been pulling some profits out on, and other ones I've just been kind of, most of my coins have just been leaving in the market and seeing what it does towards the end of this year and into 2025. But he's right about the PTSD from the last cycle.
going to take it away from us, starts to move my probabilities that you get a correction and then a spike. You can't predict that because everyone's going to hate you if you're wrong. Like I got hated at the top last time by thinking we were going to have that. Right. So it's also very difficult to manage. So it's complex, I would say, but we don't have to care this year, which is lovely.
So basically what Roll Paul's saying is, you know, it could go one of 3 ways. We could get a stunted cycle where, you know, we top out early. We could get a normal cycle where we kind of peak out at around 200,000 towards the middle of next year, or we could get a blow off top cycle, kind of like we had in 2013, 2017. There's about, you know, I think he said about a 25% chance he thinks that happens, about a 20% chance of kind of a stunted cycle where we maybe, you know, stop a little early, and about a 60% chance that he thinks that we top out around 200,000, or, you know, just as a guesstimate towards the middle of 2025. So we'll have to see kind of what happens here, but either way, typically this year should be safe. Doesn't mean we won't get bigger corrections in the market. You know, like I think we might get some corrections over May, June, July, like we have in the past, where we kind of go downwards after the halving for the summer, and then we take off into the bull run towards the end of the year. We'll have to see what happens with that or not, if I'm right or wrong on that. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. I just play it differently based off from, you know, it's a reactionary thing. My bags are already packed. I'm adding some more to my portfolio. I did just pick up some Filecoin to add a D-pin play to my portfolio because it's on sale right now. But for the most part, my bags are packed and ready for the bull run, and I have a bunch of ICOs that I invested in that are launching and have just started launching. So those are going to be growing throughout this bull run. So my bags are packed and I'm ready for either scenario. If we take off and go from here, or if we get a little bit of a correction before we take off, if that happens, I'll probably add some more to my portfolio if we go down from here for a few months. And it just is a kind of reactionary play. Either way, I'm good. It doesn't matter to me what happens either way. I think eventually we'll take off, and when that happens, I'm ready for it regardless. If we come down, I'll add more. If we don't, I'll just, you know, start cashing out on the way up. But, you know, right now there's still some coins that are on sale. There's a lot of gaming projects out there, especially smaller cap ones, that are really cheap right now. And if you're looking to add some to your portfolio, just look on some of the projects out there for the categories that you're wanting to add to your portfolio. Look at some of the good ones and look over the past year, see what they've done, see where they're at now versus where they were a few months ago. If they're down quite a bit, like 40, 50, 60% or something, maybe you want to start adding some to your portfolio. That's up to you and what you want to do for yours, but that's kind of what I'm doing and how I'm playing this. But either way, you know, the thesis of this video is, I think the SEC's lawsuits and that are not going to really impact this bull run right now. Sure, they're trying to squash it, but, you know, all these things are going to go to court, and it hasn't really had too bad of an impact on the markets. I don't think it's going to, unless we really get some kind of mass regulation in place saying that you can't trade crypto. There are some things that are really going to hold us back towards the end of June. You know, with some of these altcoins not being able to trade them on Mexi, because a lot of the altcoins we're able to get on Mexi currently, we can't get them on KuCoin anymore. You might want to look into other options out there, like using dexes. I know some people are getting like a Palo ID where they register with Palo. It's like $250 to get an ID with them, and you can get like a virtual residency with them, and hopefully KYC on some of these exchanges like Mexi and that, where you'll still be able to trade on them even if you're a US resident. You just won't be able to use them for your on and off ramp for US dollars. You still have to use like Coinbase or one of those other US exchanges where you can use your bank as an on and off ramp with it. So that's pretty much what I got for this video, guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and make sure you check out my Telegram group. The link is in the description below as well. If you want to join my Discord, that is through Patreon. You can get that in the description below and the pinned comment as well. So I appreciate it, guys, and we'll see you on the next video.
Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me.